Hey guys, so another weekend, another long distance ride. We got a little bit of break in between the rains. It was raining all day yesterday and it was raining this morning, and then it stopped. So I'm out here. I'll see if I can get 35 or 45 or 50 miles in today. The goal is to do long distance. I don't want to take out this bike and not be doing something significant. I feel that if I'm going to do a short ride, I might as well be on my gravel bike. I mean on my mountain bike, not on one of my gravel bikes. So I did a couple things. I changed that chain ring. Remember I was showing you that 26-inch inner ring as a bailout ring. I changed it to a 30 because I wanted to take off my cranks anyway and check on my bottom bracket. And the bottom bracket actually feels pretty good, but I do have a new bottom bracket for it. I'll show that to you guys later, and I'll be switching that out later. But it looks like that bottom bracket's got some more life in it, and it's a really high-end Chris King bottom bracket. So, you know, when I take it off, I'm gonna keep it or give it to someone who could really use it. But it's not a bottom bracket that you throw away. It's a very nice high-end bottom bracket. And you know, as you guys know, you can replace bearings. The other thing is I considered about the 30, why I went from the 26 to the 30 is I have such a large XT cassette that it's 11 to 42. I don't know why I thought about the 30 in the beginning, but I was also I had a smaller cassette. I had a 11 to 32, I believe, or 34 maybe. I think it's 32. And so that was the thinking behind that. But with the new cassette, or it's an old cassette, I'm fine with the way it is right now. I messed around with my lights again. I was going to put a different light up front, but sometimes lights act weird, and then when I turned it on, it was turning back off, and I don't know what was happening. So I'm going to be getting some new lights. This is a Lezyne, this is a Night Rider, and that's a Magic Shine. But I'm going to get I might get something from some other brand. I'll be announcing that soon, just because, I don't know, I feel like I do really like Night Rider. Don't get me wrong, I've used Night Rider the most in my cycling career, I could call it. But the Night Rider this morning was giving me shit, and I don't know why. And it was partially because I was holding the button down, then I locked it, and then I unlocked it, and then it somehow wanted to not stay on, and it was acting weird, and then I checked it and plugged it back in. Needless to say, it frustrated me, and I thought, why am I having all this drama with the light? So the Magic Shine is not a bad light either. It just, the batteries don't last, but I can recharge it. It just doesn't let you do pass through, so if you're going to recharge it, you have to take it off. So hence the reason I'm not having it on right now. Sometimes I like to run daytime flashing front light, and especially on overcast days like this. Anyway, so I'm gonna head on over to the bike path. It's a little bit cooler this morning. I love this fall weather. This is my favorite time to ride, and I look forward to these days in the not so low 50s but mid 50s are my favorite days for the fall. Maybe 60s, low 60s. It's just to me, and it says it's 69 right now. I think that's because my computer's in the sun right now, or it was sunny earlier, but it doesn't feel like 69. It feels closer to 62 or 3. But I like this weather, and then especially right after the rain, as we go over here, you're going to see the water flowing nicely, and that's always a good feeling, to be around all those positive ions after rain, and it cleans the air, and then there's fresh water coming down from the mountain. That's always nice. Anyway, so I'm gonna head out for my ride. I will update you guys later, and let me know in your thoughts what brand of lights that you really like. And there's a couple brands my friends have. One of them is called Outbound Lighting, and they do have a mount that allows you to put your Garmin on top. There's, of course, the Lezyne rear light. Also has Lezyne has front lights. Those have always been really reliable for me too. And then if you want to go super high end, you go with like an exposure light or a lupine. But lupine is really expensive. Same with the exposure. And are you really getting that much value out of a light that justifies spending $200 or $300 when well, it seems like a lot of them are up in the $200 range, even Outbound Lighting. But it just not that there's anything wrong with spending that much money, but what are you actually getting for that value? And do you want to spend that much money on a light that could go wrong, or do you just carry this light in a backup? Because I definitely have a backup. My last ride, I had the Night Rider as a primary and a Night Rider as a backup. Actually, I had two Night Rider lights, and they come with little clamps that can go on your handlebars, in addition to the K-edge clamp that you can use to clamp it underneath your Garmin. So the only thing, that's what happened to me this morning. I was clamping it underneath my Garmin, and while I was mounting it in there, I must have held the button on. Then when I went to turn it on, it was locked. Then I went to unlock it, it started acting weird, and it would just kind of go through the different levels by itself, and then it would turn off. It would go into flashing mode. It was just acting weird, and I was like, I'm not going to depend on that. So I took it off and plugged it back into the charger, and I don't know. The guys at Night Rider are really good though. I've called them before for support, and they've literally just, no questions asked, sent me out a new light. So the customer service is spot on, but I think you get that customer service with most good companies these days. And the difference is that Night Rider light was very inexpensive for the amount of power it has. It was the 1300 lumen. Well, I'll show it to you later, guys. I don't want to go on and on about this, but it's frustrating when you go out for the ride and you think you set up everything, which I did the night before, and then you get a weird thing happening with the light like that. The light was the last thing I put on because I was charging it. So I'll talk to you guys later.